What is up, everybody? It is your boy Farai. Thank you once again for tuning into another video. Today we're going to be looking at the Destroy Lonely vocal sound, very much reminiscent of the Trippie Red Playboy Cardi wave. If you are someone who wants to make this type of music, let me quickly put you into a scenario, okay? You produce a cool ass song, you go on stage and your vocals drowned out.
Y'all get an encore? Y'all ain't gonna encore. Stop playing.
But they're all saying
You don't want to be that guy. So follow along. I'm going to be showing you the traditional techniques that are actually used in studios by the very artists that you listen to. And your fans can finally hear your lyrics. You're going to be that guy or girl. Let's get it. Link for this vocal preset will be in the description. Let's get it.
No baby, I'm in the SIT track culture like my thighs out of Mercedes. Yeah, my side nigga don't play with this shit, you might just die today.
Yeah, on the highway sitting sideways. Middle finger up, I had to do it my way. Broski going through a lot, I told him just pray. Finna break out the matrix and run away. Wait. I don't buy chains, bitch, I buy houses. We don't roll grams, bitch, we smoke ounces. And when I'm gone, you better give me all my flowers. With real one, I'm running to the bankroll. Yeah, real one, she doing what I say so. Yeah, fake friends, I just had to let go. I'm low key, I just keep it on the low.
Wake up, little stylish, fresh as fuck, I put it.
Oh man, I love it. Alright, so let's break it down, man. Simple and easy, okay? So first things first, you know the drill. If you do not know about this vocal chain setup, you know we've got our main vocal chain, mic input, which will control all of our different chains that we have, okay? Trying to make this valuable for you so you actually have something to work with. Definitely check out the previous video I did where I show you people who have used this template or who are using this template. You can see how flexible this is, okay? But first thing you'd probably want to do is, insert a beat into here. Your beat's going to go into this channel right here. Gain staging is done. I would highly recommend with this kind of hyper pop rage style beat, mixing, you definitely want to drop a lot more than usual just because these beats are quite highly compressed. You want that headroom to be able to record your vocals. You don't want to mess it up during the recording phase, okay? So, my vocals are pretty much standardized to around 0 VU, so I highly recommend, you slap a VU meter on here. That way all of these chains are going to work at best, okay? So we started off with a bit of Autotune. Now you know me. At this stage, pretty much using 8.1 for life, and 5 retune speed. No need to mess around with the vibrato. Simple and sweet, okay? Nothing crazy. NoiseGate, if you really want to get rid of some of that kind of hiss. I personally like to do this, especially with vocals where the high end is kind of going to be emphasized a little bit. You want to make sure none of that hiss is there. You want to really focus in on that vocal mix, okay? So that's why that's there, not needed, okay? Now all of these green plugins, I'm not going to run through them all, but this will be standard for all of the new templates moving forward. I really want everyone out there to be able to experience what a kind of analog vocal chain would sound like, right? I mean, I just feel like this adds way more impact. So I actually recorded this mix using a cheaper microphone, okay, and then I've used all of these digital techniques and stuff like that to really just kind of get that sound. I did still use the 1176, so you can just check out. As you can see, the vocals are kind of compressed, but just using this kind of analog chain is really going to give you like a good 50% of the sound, okay? So if we just turn these off, I'll let you hear what that sounds like. You'll already hear a difference, right? So let me just go to somewhere where the drums hit.
And when I'm gone, you better give me all my flowers. With real one, I'm running to the bankroll.
Right, it's there, it's clean, but it doesn't have that kind of hyper pop rage wave, right? That kind of Cardi trippy sound, you know what I mean? That Destroy Lonely sound. So let's go for it.
And when I'm gone, you better give me all my flowers. With real one, I'm running to the bankroll. Yeah, real one, she doing what I say so. Yeah, fake friends, I just had to let go. I'm low key, I just keep it on the low.
Right, that's kind of where we're getting that emphasis on the low end and the high end, okay? This is what happens with analog gear. You get really nice emphasis on those extreme ends of the vocal spectrum, okay? Now, how I'm doing that, you know what I mean? A little bit of LA2A, right? So if I had the 1176 smashing into an LA2A, that's how you get that really nice kind of dynamic between the two compressors, right? 1176 is going to deal with all of the really fast transients. LA2A is just going to smooth that vocal out. This is going to make your vocal chain much easier to deal with later, okay? So super important. I'm not going to go to the EQ or the de-esser. I'll leave that for y'all, but just a little bit of boost, you know what I mean? Just a little bit of de-essing to give us that tape sound, and boom, you're ready to get going, okay? So now when we hit the main vocal chain, I'll just turn this off so you can really hear the differences, right? We really want to be able to emphasize any microphone, so I've kind of focused in on all the little intricacies.
And when I'm gone, you better give me all my flowers. With real one, I'm running to the bankroll.
right? As you can hear, the vocal is like dark as compared to everything else, right? With these beats, you know, you're gonna get that really wide synth sound. You need to be on top of that. How are we gonna do that? Well, we're gonna talk about that, right? Once we turn this on, we can hear we suddenly have all this power and control over our mix, right?
And when I'm gone, you better give me all my flowers. Real one, I'm running to the bankroll. Yeah, real one, she doing what I say so.
Right? I mean, just listen to when the drums kick in.
Yeah, real one, she doing what I say so.
Right?
Yeah, real one, she.
Right? You can just hear like we're getting all of that throat harmonic. We're getting all of that, right? So that's beautiful, man. So let's hop into it, man. So first things first, we got the vocal enhancer. Okay, check this out. Link in the description. Arguably the best vocal mixing plugin for FL Studio, right? It's as simple, man, as it gets, right? We have a basic 2 preamp section. Now we're using this as if it is our mixing console, okay? So keep that in mind. So what I'm doing is I'm driving it a little bit, tilting this EQ a little bit. If I want more of a kind of bigger body of a vocal sound, I simply just turn this to the left, right? If I want more of an airy vocal sound, I turn it to the right, okay? It thins out the vocal, it's simple as that, right? A little bit of input drive, a little bit of distortion, you know the drill. And then we're just doing our EQ toning, man. 4 simple bands that we can tweak. Bass, D-mud, which is going to get rid of that kind of, you know, low MIDI mud sound, right? We can dip away that. Dip away a little bit of the treble, right? A little bit of a pull tech trick just to smooth out the vocal. Tiny bit of air, a little bit of effect, man, and we're good to go. All right. So next thing after that, RVox. I'm sure some of you may not even know this skin right here. This is the RVox, right? I prefer the old school one. Reminds me of the good old days, right? But yeah, man, the RVox is really important for this type of vocal sound. One thing I've picked up on is on the studios, in LA, waves on every computer. Okay, so you're gonna want to use a little bit of that. It's definitely gonna contribute to the sound. So check that out. If you don't have the RVox, there are alternative plugins from Analog Obsession that you can use, like Console, just to crank your vocal a little bit, get a little bit of that squeeze going on. All right, simple and sweet. After that, man, again, we're using some more analog, or this time we're using some Analog Obsession, right? And I just wanted to show you how we can use free plugins, we can use paid plugins, we can mix things together, and we can get great results, okay? And all I'm really doing is really just kind of, you know, every plugin is going to be doing a little bit of a job, right? I really want to make a video on how to abuse plugins, right? Because I know a lot of people are trying to do things right, but, you know, technically speaking, we're not doing it right by using a whole bunch of plugins, right? Because we don't do that in the analog world. But on computers, we can't get that same sound. Like if I tweak my SSL, if I boost 8K, if I cut 200, I get a certain effect I just can't get in the box, right? And so I'm going to be wanting to stack plugins up. This is why I have 2 channel strips, right? Why would I need to use 2 SSL strips? You know what I mean? When we do this in the box, we just get a really nice sound, right? So, you know, I'm just tucking away what I need to tuck away, 200, you know, a little bit of 120, getting rid of what I don't like, emphasizing what I do like. It's as simple as that. Don't look at the screen too much. Use your ears, okay? So there you go. Again, you can drive this if you want. It does turn the volume down. Maybe use a Bass Color 4 or something instead. So after that, that's when we get into the more technical side, man. This is where we're really going to be listening in. You know, I might even do this towards the end of the mix, you know, just really listen in and kind of listen to where, you know, the vocal is clashing with the instrumental. We want to get rid of that, right? So that's all this is, man. Be unique, you know, don't just think, okay, yeah, 226, I gotta cut that out. Really just listen in, man. It's as simple as doing something like this, right?
Sideways, middle finger about it, do it my way. Broski going through a.
You know what I mean? It's really just a game of skimming through, listening, and then deciding and being honest with yourself. Do I think it's pulling too much out of the vocal? Why do I want to cut away some of that 300? Oh, it's clashing with that crossover point with the kick and the snare. You know what I mean? You want to really listen in and slot everything in as if it's a puzzle, okay? So have fun, spend, you know, a few minutes. Sometimes I made an Instagram story the other day, you know, being a real mix is taking 30 minutes to find that one frequency. Sometimes that happens, man. You're not every day you're gonna find it off top. Oh yeah, 200. There isn't a mix out there that can do that. So put a little bit of effort on there, you'll be good to go. Again, a little bit of de-essing. De-ess a trick. I recommend you just type in Fry the Producer de-ess a trick. Okay, simple and sweet. Get the waves de-essing when it's on sale. 16K. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of de-essing right there, and you're good to go. Let me just put that on pause right there. Anyway, so there you go, man. Now something brand new for the Mandem. Right there, and this is a dynamic EQ that is native to FL Studio. So if you used Patcher before, right, Vocal Enhancer was made in Patcher, right? This is basically just, you know, a plugin that allows you to stack plugins and do routing and things like that. But as you can see right here, there are a bunch of cool presets that you can try out. There's our F3000, you know, there's our Beat Enhancer, Vocal Enhancer, etc. But you've also got these Ulean and Wise Labs plugins, man. And somewhere here is a dynamic EQ, so I think it's the Dynamic 5. And this is simple and sweet, man. If we actually look at what's happening, you can see this is doing proper dynamic EQ, all for free within FL Studio. So let's just see.
Sideways, middle finger up, I had to do it my way.
And as you can see, it's just kind of bouncing, right? But really what I'm focusing on, is band 1, and then I think it's band 4. And all I'm really doing is ducking, right? So we're actually compressing. So we're turning it up, and then, you know, whenever the lower mids get a bit, or the lows get a bit crazy, it just ducks it right there. And then whenever this 5K region gets a bit crazy, we tuck it right now. The reason why we want to focus on this 5K is because that's where the hi-hats exist, okay? If you pull up a frequency meter on a beat, you'll see that usually around that 5 to 7 to 8K is going to be like, you'll see like a little bit of a poke. That's kind of where all of those hi-hats and instrument kind of transients are existing in, right? So you want to make sure that your vocal is not clashing with that. Okay, so mess around, move this around, you know, see what you like. But this is a nice starting point. So there you go. Right, after that, we have the SSL channel strip. Now I added this in quite late in the mix because I still felt like, man, I could tweak, right? I love that SSL smoothing, that toning. It's just something that is unique to SSL. That's why I love this EQ so much. And I really do love the Waves version 1. This is the OG, you know what I mean? I think this is one of the first SSL strips. I don't know if SSL themselves did one, but this one is so clean, man. It just does the SSL cutting and boosting, no BS added, right? So, you know, we're just going to be doing 200 cut again, just kind of cleaning up some of the weight that the plugins are introducing as well, doing a bit of housekeeping, and then just emphasizing, you know, some of that 2-3 just to kind of pop that vocal out a bit, right? A little bit of a high pass, a little bit of a low pass, da-da-da. It's really not doing much other than, you know, just adding on that little 2-3% that we need out of our chain, right? So there you go. Again, man, just to prove to you again that we don't need waves all the time. I'm kind of, you know, copying a bit of a RVox setup right here, a nice fat long attack, and really just, you know, tucking down that vocal, man, you know.
Sideways, middle finger up, I had to do it my way. Broski going through a lot, I told him just pray. Finna break out the matrix and run away. Wait. I don't buy chains, bitch, I buy houses.
So as you can see, it's just doing a little bit of compression. Now I urge you to make sure that, oh, let's just start, man.
Sideways, middle finger up, I had to do it my way.
So there you go. Can you see this little blue line right there? I'm probably in the screen right now. Let me just delete myself. Okay, there you go. So, you know, there's a little bit of a line here, and I think this might be the RMS line or something. But, you know, this compressor is detecting compression in a little bit of a different way. Where the blue line crosses the other blue lines is where you're going to start compressing. So can you see this is inverted? Boom, right there you got compression. Right there is where it's compressing. So pay attention to that from a visual standpoint and decide how much compression, and then just kind of tie it together with your ear. Am I hearing over compression? Am I seeing over compression? When those two things meet, you're not fooling yourself. You know what I mean? Don't overdo it and then lie to yourself and be like, yo, I'm supposed to be compressing that much, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Be true to yourself, right? So adjust that as needed. Don't just leave that as is. So cool, man. After that, again, man, that CLA vocal, right? Shout out Kenny Beats. There's actually something really cool that I don't think a lot of people have been using when it comes to this plugin, but it's actually to drive the input of this plugin. Because from what I understand, there are some internal harmonic things going on. Now, if you don't have the waves, definitely consider checking out Bus Color 4 or something like that, just to add on here. And really all we're doing with this is we're adding in a little bit of EQ and then a little bit of compression and then a tiny bit of space on there. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm really just emulating kind of a summing bus or something that's just going to help to kind of squash that vocal, to really kind of fatten it out and emphasize it, right? I think doing that in your vocal chain is important, so definitely stress your vocal in that way. It adds in all those harmonics, right? Maybe you've mixed your track and you lack those harmonics, man. Add something like this in there.
Sideways, middle finger up, I had to do it my way.
Right? It doesn't have that weight on it, man.
Sideways, middle finger up, I had to do it my way.
Right? Like, it just pops out, man. It's beautiful. Okay, so there you go. Simple and sweet, man. Again, a little bit of fruity chorus. This time not using the flangus. Why? I don't know, right? Experiment. Have fun. Sounds good. Okay, so there you go, man. That's pretty much it. You know, ad-libs, clean cut, you know, rage doubler, man. Definitely mess with the F3000. You know, this is something that, you know, I showed this on my story today, so check that out. But we're using it on this one right here. Tied together with the reverb delay, because why not? But anyway, we'll just kind of mute this out so you can hear. Which one would this be? There we go, right? Oh, wrong one. There we go, yeah. right? If I turn that off, we lose that kind of Travis Scott vibe, man. Right? That's like your average FL enjoyer, but your average FL enjoyer is on that F3000, right? It's just dreamlike, man. So definitely check it out. Link in the description for the F3000. But you know, there you go, man. It's simple. You know, with these rage style tracks, you know, you don't want to be going too crazy on the doublers. Again, I'm just trying to use as much as possible to give you as much as possible, right? I think that's what these videos should be about. But you know, again, vocal enhancer, right? Just to kind of add on some beef right there. Right? Can you just hear how like the corners of the vocal are just so much bigger and wider, and we just get so much more of a 3D sound when we saturate into other things, right? Important, man. Definitely mess around with that. But again, you know, just some background vocals. I don't think I've even barely mixed these ones. Really not much going on here. If we just...
Real when I'm running to the band roll. Real when she doing what I say so.
Right, just getting rid of some of that low end right there, just to kind of clean up the vocal. And boom, man, I mean, you've got something, right? Classic H3000. I've already printed the track, so I turned it off, since that is an old boy right there, man. I mean, that machine is probably older than me, so gotta let it rest once in a while, you know what I'm saying? But this is what it sounds like. This is just a flanger plugin, okay? Super fancy. This is what the F3000 is mimicking, okay? This is why I only have one, so I have to use the F3000. Cool stuff, man. And then we got the Effectron. And I've got that just doing like a really tight flangy delay. And you know, together that just sounds great in the mix.
Yeah, on the highway since sideways. Middle finger up, I had to do it my way. Broski going through a lot, I told him just pray. Finna break out the matrix and run away. Wait. I don't buy chains, bitch, I buy houses. We don't roll grams, bitch, we smoke ounces. And when I'm gone, you better give me all my flowers. Real one, I'm running to the bankroll. Yeah, real one, she doing what I say so. Yeah, fake friends, I just had to let go. I'm low key, I just keep it on the low.
It's really cool, man. Now, one thing I have noticed is a lot of people have been asking about mastering chains. I will be doing mastering chains soon, so definitely check that out. But, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I meant to say I'm going to be adding them onto these presets. My bad. Not going to be separate. But yeah, you know, there's something on there that you're going to like. But yeah, man, nonetheless, man, it's simple. Keep it simple and sweet, man. You know what I mean? Doing things the traditional way will always work, man. I got to emphasize this every time. There's no cheap tricks to doing this, man. You just got to really put your head down for a couple months, work, you know what I mean? And you'll be doing a lot better, you know what I mean? The results I see from people are amazing, man. You know what I mean? So super proud of everyone, you know, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out the next one. Stay well, stay strong, keep you out.